All right, welcome back. Once again, it's time for your Boston-based hockey show. That's right, the Smoking Puck. I come from a Bruins-centric point of view because here I am in the hub of the multiverse here in Boston, Massachusetts, from our Boston studios with our executive producer, a Pikachu. That's right. He writes my show notes, and I am just the talent, and I read exactly what my executive producer writes down on little pieces of paper. You know, I got it in my pocket. That's what I think of your notes, kid. You can take your notes and you can take your notes and you can shove it where the sun don't shine. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to the Smoking Puck. It's Reverend Sully here on the Reverend Sully Network here. The Eric O'Sullivan channel. That's me. Living out loud like I always do. And just me being me, I guess. This is great. I love this hobby. I love my chosen sport. There are all the sports of the world that you can choose. Which one is your number one sport? And why isn't it hockey if it's not already ice hockey? Well, it could be anything you bloody will want it to be. It could be, throwing darts. You know, that's wicked popular. It could be bowling. It could be cricket. Cricket has, don't cricket fans? Rugby. Then comes football, aka soccer. These are international sports, you know. And you know what's an international sport? It's hockey. And even more so this year with the 2026 February Olympics, the Winter Olympics in Milan. There's some hubbub going on about the size of the ice surface. The NHL has not, so we didn't take one. It's been since 2014. So it's been 11 years since the NHL has done this thing in cooperation with the International Ice Hockey Federation and the Olympic, the Winter Olympic Committee people or the ice hockey people, whatever. So buttons, as my ma says. What the ice surface in Milan, it's too small. NHL overseers went out there with their protractors and rulers. Now, I was under the assumption that, overall Olympic ice was bigger. Now, Olympic ice is wider, but lengthwise, it's still 85 feet. In the Olympic, 85 meters. NHL, let's look it up. This is why we have the, rink size versus international. And I'm going to read this to you. You guessed it, from the wiki, because we love to read from wikis here at the Reverend Sully Network. The main difference between NHL and international, that's Olympic / IIHF, hockey rinks, is width. It's not the girth. It's the girth. It's hey, listen, size matters here. It really does. NHL rinks are 200 feet by 85 feet. That's narrower, promoting faster, more physical play, while international rinks are 200 feet in length and 98.5 feet wider. So it's almost 14 feet wider. That's 7 feet on each side. So that's about 2 or 3 strides. And that's why international hockey, less fight. It's like fighting's not a big thing, in international hockey, I guess, unless you're Russians, or maybe it's the Poles versus the Russians in the national, maybe some scores get settled, but it's like you have to catch them first. And if you've got 2 to 3 strides on your opponent, that's 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's you're averaging about 5 miles an hour pull of potential speed in each explosive stride of a hockey player. You know what I mean? And these well-conditioned athletes. So the wider international ice rink, allows for that. It was like look at Pavel Bure. He's 5'10", and he looks like he's 140 pounds soaking wet. But your big muscle goons and your cement heads couldn't catch him. He was too quick. because he grew up on that international ice hockey. So he's got that vision. He's got those strides already within him to unlock and explode all over you. Who the hell is Pavel Bure? So the main difference between NHL and international rinks is width. NHL rinks are narrower at 85 feet in width. International rinks are 98.5 feet in width, and creating more space for skill passing in a flowing game. Hence the big difference. So I thought there was, and so the second part is that the goals are pushed in a little more. That there are, let me share this tab instead. Here we go. Oh shit. Where's the infographic? Here we go. There's 8 feet. So if we look on the infographic on the left, on the right rather. Oh shit. You don't have an ad blocker, Sully. And so there's 11 feet between the goal line and the boards, and you get 2 more feet in the Olympic rink. So it's and the goal mouth is 3 feet wider as well. So you have an 8-foot goal mouth in the NHL. And the Olympic rink, I have to change the ticker here to something a bit like edit. Size matters. Let's talk NHL versus Olympic ice size. Here we go. Add banner. Scroll. Add banner. Okay, what am I doing? Awesome. Is it adding? Okay, here we go. Show. Size matters. Oh, see, you did all that for what, Sully? What are you doing here? So, and there's so the NHL rink has a bigger offensive zone, 64 feet. So this that 2 feet's coming out of somewhere. Center ice. So the defense, the neutral zone is 4 feet larger. And the offensive zone, that means offsides and everything. So yeah, here are your differences between the Olympic and the NHL rink. And so the hubbub is seen here on ESPN the network. Sources: winter ice surface not NHL size, because the I guess to get the NHL to play in this international marketplace, to show off the NHL at its full best and brightest, everyone representing their nations, and the Olympiad, make this the Winter Olympics that everyone remembers, especially ice hockey. Ice hockey is just one of the best parts of the Winter Olympics. Well, besides biathlon, if I say so very much, the combination of cross-country skiing and target shooting with a rifle. I mean, I would be down if I could ski and shoot. I live vicariously through the medalists of the biathlon. I love that event. I don't know why. I always have. It's so woodsy. I'm such a city boy. Emily Kaplan wrote this. She's she's okay. Emily Kaplan wrote it. She's like, I come off. My misogyny is actually it's part of an ongoing running gag, but also there are points in time where you have to when you have to break kayfabe and look at the fourth wall and address things and say, I'm really not a misogynist. I really love women. I really do. And I had a mother, I had grandmothers, I have aunties, I've got cousins, I've got friends, I've got friends with wives, I got friends with daughters, I got friends with with cousins with daughters, or what, all down the line. I've got coworkers, I've got bosses, I've got clients and guests, and I've got strangers in the train who I haven't even met yet. Half the world's population are women, and half our country's population is women. And just it's part of the whole ongoing fight between men and women and the culture wars that's been going on since like Greek times. You take the Lysistrata. It's this amazing satirical piece of feminism, proto-feminism in a way. But I digress. I'm just here to drop this puck and smoke it. But sometimes, I go, I say snide things about the fairer sex. Oh, I said it. I love women. Hey, open this jar for me, honey, and I will. Yeah, I got that. And but Emily Kaplan. Okay, back to it. Emily Kaplan's good folk. I mean, yeah, she started. I'm pretty sure she started with the Bruins on the Boston Globe. ESPN. ESPN, the website. While the NHL is concerned about the status of ice hockey arena for the Milan Cortina games, sources told ESPN on Wednesday there are no indications the league will pull out of the event, despite reports that the ice arena surface is about 3 feet too short. Too short. Okay, and so it's because so that means, they didn't say wide. So there's nothing to do about width. And so I believe the negotiation with the NHL was that the Winter Olympics had to play on the regulation National Hockey League ice surface, not the IIHF, the International Ice Hockey Federation, width and markings of the ice. The plan to send players to the 2026 Olympics in February for the first time since the 2014 games in Sochi. The agreement between the NHL's Players Association, and the IIHF clearly states that the ice in Milan must be built to NHL standards. However, the main arena's construction is not finished yet, causing organizers to push test events back to January and sparking concerns from both the NHL and NHLPA. And I mean, is this much ado about nothing? Maybe the Bruins bullpen there, the bull crew, they would have this solved in minutes. You need some extra seats, and you want me to not move the boards. We make outdoor rinks that are going to operate in Florida in January and February of this coming year. We got the Winter Classic in Miami. The Florida Panthers and these ugly ass jerseys are hosting the New York Rangers, and these sweet ass centennial all of the above jerseys. They look great. And then in February, you have my very own Boston Bruins playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stadium Series. So they're playing, I guess, where the Buccaneers play. And yet to be released are and that's coming up soon. It's only like 2 months away, less than 2 months away. No jersey reveal for that yet. But we're talking about the same technology, the same coil of people that can produce an NHL-sized rink in a football stadium and have it be playable ice in February in Florida, in Tampa Bay. I mean, what do you think the temperature is going to be? In the 60s? In the 70s? Isn't that amazing? Or the amount of energy that it needs to, in order to pull that off. That might be the trade-off too. I mean, seriously, there are two things that I read some books on energy and energy expenditures, and what are the most wasteful kind of things per compared in scale to its cargo. I guess it's got to be space flight, the amount of chemical propellant and effort and the economic, you know, 2 cents per pound something into orbit. And also the number 2, I think, is the Ski-Doo jet ski. Like the amount of, like, you know, fuel and power output to, like, you know, propel like one human, I guess, maybe the standard. And now think of like how much energy you need to produce in order to keep alive a playable ice surface at 70 degrees and maybe even, you know, battle sunlight. Yes, technology. However, on Tuesday, The Athletic reported that the International Ice Hockey Federation approved a 196.85 foot by 85.3 foot sheet of ice in Milan, which is more than 3 feet shorter than the NHL standard of 200 foot by 85 foot dimensions. The issue was first raised on Monday by Team Canada assistant coach Pete DeBeer in a Sportsnet radio interview. DeBeer, who visited Milan earlier this fall, he said the ice surface, it looks like it's going to be smaller than the NHL ranked standard by probably 3 or 4 feet. I don't understand how that happened. And literally, maybe it was the feet to meters thing again. Didn't we like crash out a Mars probe that went because JBL couldn't communicate with NASA? There was some kind of, or maybe it was the Martians. She can't say that on the YouTubes. They're out to get us. They're out there. Oh, I'm watching us. Hello, Sally. I see you. Oh man, unabridged, unedited, unscripted, unfiltered. They shoot from the hip. I just go with the flow, man. Like what the Queens of the Stone Age said in that song. I can go with the flow. I can rain it. Okay, the NHL has no control over the construction of the new 1,600 seat rink in the outskirts of Milan, and is still committed to making it work. You got no choice. All you got to do is this is just bluster. All you got to do is just fix it. That's it. Fix it. You have plenty of time. You got 3 months. Fix it. You got 3 months. Fix it. The Nashville Predators and Pittsburgh Penguins played games at the Avicii Center in Stockholm for last month. That the rink was also slightly off from NHL dimensions. Oh, so this is consistent. The NHL solution was to move the lines to account for the missing ice area surface in the neutral zone rather than either offensive zone. While and those games counted in standings points too. I mean, geez. Those should have been like, you know, as soon as you adjusted the rules like that, I mean, quite technically, you made this kind of invitational. And those 2 games, should they be replayed? Would it be fair to give the Nashville Predators and Pittsburgh Penguins 2 more games to play in their 82-game season, which goes up to 84 games next year? But seriously, you did not play that on a regulation NHL sheet of ice. That doesn't that compromise the integrity of your statistics? And especially if it comes down to the end of the season too, if these teams are struggling for that 8 spot, you know, I don't have any answers. That's just a question, you know. Seriously, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Be part of this ongoing hockey conversation here at the Smoking Puck. Please subscribe to the Smoking Puck. But yeah, while the Olympic rink dimensions being slightly off is not ideal and is a violation of the agreement between the NHL, the Players Association, and the International Ice Hockey Federation, the league does not view it as a concern in terms of safety. See, that's cool. One NHL player already named to an Olympic team told ESPN he didn't believe the ice area being 3 feet shorter would affect the game too much, with the talent level that there's already going to be no time and space. The player said, the games are going to be incredible no matter what. Just give us a sheet of ice and we'll be good. That's a good way to put it too. You know, you just let them play. The league sent a contingent to Milan last month to check on the status of the rink, and according to sources, the main takeaway was that organizers were making progress, but needed to speed things up. There is no backup plan if the main ice hockey arena for the Milan Cortina Winter Games is not ready on time. The women's hockey tournament is scheduled to begin on February 5th. The men's hockey tournament begins on February 11th. Now, maybe maybe there's a better question. What are the differences in women's ice hockey rink dimensions? The main difference in women's and men's ice hockey rinks is depends on the governing body. So it's I'm diving deeper into so no difference between men's and women's surfaces professionally or internationally, because we have the PWHL now, the Professional Women's Hockey League, and it's like, people, again, it's like the misogyny thing. It's a joke. It's an ongoing gag. It's a response to the culture war. There's so many unlikable people out there making aggrievable and untenable claims, and I'm like, I push back on that with my sense of satire, sense of humor, and my pulpit of being an ordained minister and having a spiritual bent. Correct. There's no specific rule that mandates different rink sizes for men's and women's ice hockey at the professional or international levels. And now it comes to the caveat: can we believe the AI that just answers that question? Because these AIs make simple mistakes. The original plan was to use a portion of the Under-20 World Championships in December as a test event. Typically, Olympic venues have test events as far back as the games begin. The new test event for the Milan area is now scheduled for January 9th through 11th, about a month before the puck drops on the 2026 Winter Ice Hockey rounds of play. I'll be watching. The NHL and NHL Players Association signed an agreement with the International Ice Hockey Federation in July to send players back to the Olympics, believing it is an important event to help grow the game globally. That's the chick from marketing. But no, that's corporate anyway. It's growing and evolving the iconic brand. And it's a good thing that they're not accusing the pre-existing fan base of being out of touch and some kind of frat boy Friday night kind of vibe. These are almost exact quotes from the Alicia Heinerside, interview. She's the former VP of Bud Light and, Harvard business school grad, that is like to evolve and grow the iconic brand, believing to help grow the game globally. The agreement covered several areas, including player accommodations, hotel, and ticketing for guests, as well as the NHL and Players Association's role in the event, which is league sources often described as being a partner or guest and not a host. The NHL, let's call this the Jeremy Roenick rule. The NHL players have been warned by their federations and the players' associations that accommodations will be different than the standards they're used to, and things might not be perfect when they arrive. The locker rooms, for example, are supposed to be in trailers adjacent to the arenas. Both Team USA and Canada are planning on staying in the Olympic Village dorms. That's cool. What did former NHL forward Jeremy Roenick do at the Olympics? I think it was in '96. Trashing hotel. Former NHL star Jeremy Roenick was involved in a 1998 incident where some U.S. Olympic hockey players damaged hotel rooms in Nagano, Japan, reportedly breaking furniture and using fire extinguishers, with Roenick later admitting to being there but downplaying the damage, saying cheap chairs broke, though he faced criticism for it, and especially after his later suspension by the NBC for using inappropriate comments on a podcast. And that's the AI conflating two really separately rated events. The outcome was that USA Hockey investigated, but the incident became a sore spot, with some media blaming Roenick for the disruption and the lack of maturity. Roenick was a legendary party animal too. So that was the 1998 Winter Olympics, when the NHL once again had players, to globally grow this brand. They've been doing that for 2 generations now, and it's a big success. The NHL is truly an international league. Well, where else can you grow it? Deeper into China, deeper into Asia, You notice that we have our Christmas stuff up. The spinner rack has the my Santa based stuff on it. I put some holiday lights. Pikachu and I've done toques, and it's all good here at the Smoking Puck. How are you? And thank you so much for tuning in. Very grateful and blessed for everyone that tunes in, everyone that smashes that like button, everyone that uses that hype button, or whatever the hell that does. Tell the chicken marketing that she's doing a great job. And to anyone that subscribes, seriously, we're still a growing channel. It's hard for small channels like this to get, traction, and especially in the changing algorithm. And if you've heard about the YouTube stuff, you've heard about it. And I'm just grateful and blessed that little by little, subscriber by subscriber, this small channel grows. And I can't do it without you. Thank you so much. I am so blessed and grateful for everyone that comes in to smoke a puck with us. It's size. The size matters. Where are all these trades that I'm hearing about? Okay, I have a, let me load this up. Excuse me while I whip this out. Here we go. Share this tab instead. Here we go. Get out of here. Boom. All right. This is my hockey stuff folder or playlist or tab. It's my thing on here on Twitter X. You're welcome to come and join. You can find it through my channel, I believe, and it's a lists. Yeah, lists. This is called an X, and I have about 33 different accounts piped into here. Why Get the Hockey News, which is a month-old news publication sent to your door, and suffers from modernity. When you can curate your own hockey experience. So here, the NHL Rumor Report. I'm going to go here. I love this feed. All right. But let's look at it real quick. All right. NHL rumors and speculations, not affiliated with the NHL. They got 65.8 thousand followers. That's great. And this is where I get my information from when it comes to Rumors Report. But I want to say that we are more than a quarter of a way through the season. And where are the trades? Where are the trades this year? There aren't many. There are very small trades going on. So I'm thinking, is this just clickbait? Is it just to get it? But it's but no, every line is attributed to another hockey beat writer, a hockey beat writer, a beat writer. That's an old journalism term. That's an old newspaper term. A beat writer. It's like the patrolman, the policeman of your neighborhood. That's his beat, is your neighborhood, and the several blocks that he keeps an eye on. That's his beat. And so the beat would be the hockey team that you're covering and the league that you're covering, addition to the minor leagues and the developmental stuff going on in major junior hockey and on the U.S. college hockey, level. Also, you got to add the international scene in there too, especially Finland with their number one export being, I believe, their goalies. But Elliot Friedman's a huge hockey news voice. He's a huge hockey print publication. And so everyone here is like really spot on, accurate. It's like there's very little cui bono in misrepresenting facts and being misquoted in the hockey realms, I guess. But Elliot Friedman, he's notable. He's the next generation after Kevin Paul DuPont and Darren Dreger, you know what I mean? And just like, and the such, one person I don't follow, surprisingly, is Don Cherry, but I should fix that and listen to Don Cherry more. He's a gem, and he's from a different age. But okay, so one of my things I've been keeping track of is Quinn Hughes. If you've been watching the show, I've been talking about the eventual reunion of the three Quinn brothers on one hockey team. The probability that with Jack and Luke Hughes signed with the New Jersey Devils until 2031 at least, with Quinn Hughes having 2 years left on his contract in Vancouver, becoming an unrestricted free agent at that time, and with Dougie Hamilton being kind of like Dougie Hamilton, first round draft pick, Boston Bruins. We had so much hope in him, and that he still gets. He's like 32 years old, and he signed a huge contract, $9 million a year annual AAV in New Jersey, and he's got 2 years left on his contract. So I'm like, I can see it from here. Quinn Hughes for Dougie Hamilton, and sweeten the deal with something this, and that, and the other thing. Dougie Hamilton's getting paid $2 million more a year annually than Quinn Hughes, and both of their contracts are running out at the same time. So like when you hear here, this is from a couple of days ago. Elliot Friedman says, when I rank the teams, he's thinking about Quinn Hughes and where's Vancouver going to move? What do they need? If Quinn Hughes goes to New Jersey for Dougie Hamilton, that's a defenseman for defenseman switch. First rounder, beyond competent defenseman. I'm not sure. Is Dougie Hamilton an elite defenseman? If he was, the Bruins would never have let him go in the first place. We would have kept him. That was an age of keeping players. We kept Marshy. We kept Berge. We seriously. If Dougie Hamilton, yeah. I don't think Dougie Hamilton became an elite player along the way on his many stops between Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. But I could see that's my call. That's my rumor report. Reverend Sully said it here. Quinn Hughes will be reunited with his brothers. And as an unrestricted free agent, he can either walk or sign with the Devils and play with his brothers for several years. And that would be cool. But it's hockey all the same. I mean, Quinn Hughes might have a stop in between whatever is best for Vancouver. So if trading Quinn Hughes to Detroit, it's the same thing though. It's like without a contract extension as part of the deal, his contract expires in 2 years and he's an unrestricted free agent where he can go and sign with the New Jersey Devils and play with his brothers. And so it's what you're willing to get and give, the art of the deal. So Quinn Hughes, when I rank, this is Elliot Friedman talking about, when I rank the teams and I say who can do this and where Hughes would want to go, I would say Detroit's very high on my list. That comes from the Morning Cup of Hockey podcast or whatever it was. I don't know that one myself. But that's pinned on top of this. So that's 4 days old. This is 4-day-old news. And no one's been traded yet. No, there's no one's this. But I keep going through all these trade things. And it's about this new NHL, the salary cap era. You know what I mean? The NHL salary cap era refers to the period starting in 2005, 2006. So this has been going on. We've been 20 years into the salary cap era. And I'm like, just seriously, I mean, this is the least important part of my hockey experience is counting other men's money. Yet it is a pecking order. There is a hierarchy of talent. And there are elite players. And you do get big name free agents. And you do try to trade for big name players. And you are pleased when you have those all-stars. We didn't call them elite players back in the day. We called them all-stars. The people that ended up on the all-star teams. You know, and every team had at least one all-star. That was the whole point of it. And so the NHL salary cap era refers to a period starting in 2005-06 after the lockout. Oof, I remember the lockout. Yeah, oh, geez, I was so hurt. My feelings were hurt. But from the ashes of that came the best collective bargaining agreement, and we've let us hear. Making a fundamental shift to a hard cap on team spending, creating more league-wide parity, but also changing how teams build rosters, focusing on young stars and efficient development, with the cap increasing significantly over time. And so this hard salary cap with the 50-50 revenue split, that's 50% for the owners and 50% for the players to, distribute between the teams. So it's like every year, your financial report, there you go, you're 50-50. And this is where like these high salaries are coming from, the salary cap era, and how like teams are like painted in the corner, or they have some things to give. Like it started with like trying to wrap my head around why San Jose would take Carey Price's contract in a trade with Montreal. And I did not understand it until, Brian, my best friend from childhood, he was like, no. There's a hard maximum of salary cap, but there's also a hard minimum. And so by signing this player, this puts San Jose above that minimum safely for the rest of the season. So they don't have to worry about that. San Jose's in a rebuilding time right now. So this is like, these are chess pieces. And because Carey Price will never play for the San Jose Sharks. He's never playing again. He's injured. And he's on long-term injured reserve list. And he's signed a huge contract in Montreal. Deservedly so. He earned it. But guess what? He got hurt. And what do you do with the player that's, never going to play again? But they're under contract and they're guaranteed. Hence the money puck. And hence, what do you do? And you do the best what you can. It's just maybe he'll sign a one-day contract with Montreal and have his number retired. And because he was one hell of a goaltender. But once again, back to the salary cap era. So the focusing on young stars with the cap increasing significantly over time. So such as in this 2005, 2006 this period when it started, the hard salary cap was $39 million. And this year it's about $95 million. And next year it's going to be about $110 to $120 million. That's there, and that's the negotiated, how the players are getting these skyrocketing. Like now you see all of these younger players getting signed up 7-8 year contracts, $7 million, because in 2 years from now, $7 million is going to be really cheap to keep one of these players. The NHL makes lots of money. They have lots of third jerseys and alternate jerseys, great apparel, great design, lots of I would love to learn more about like marketing and about branding with the NHL and because there's nothing finer than a hockey jersey. I think it's organized sports best uniform. And even with the stupid corporate tags on the shirts now and on the helmets, those increase the yearly revenue. Those little corporate things have are a main reason why the salary caps are so skyrocketing every year. But yeah, so yeah, Jordan Biddington. Who is Jordan Biddington? Where is he playing? Isn't he on St. Louis? Yeah. Okay. So St. Louis, the kind of Mets right now. I also hear like Edmonton. Edmonton wants to get rid of Skinner, and I'm like, I don't think Skinner's Edmonton's problem right now. Edmonton's a great team. They're just a little maybe out of balance, and they need to relearn some stuff. But there's all of these trade rumors, like, this goalie's going here, this goalie's going there. There have been no significant trade rumors. I feel like it's like it's like the Usual Suspects, the movie with Gabriel Byrne and that Baldwin brother. I've looked up and down the ship. There is no coke. What? What do you mean? There is no fucking coke. That's my best Gabriel Byrne. But yeah, I mean, and this is good for me too, because it's like getting me like really up to speed with different players and different names and where and how old they are. And I have like a huge bald spot in my hockey for, I just concentrate on Boston, and was a peripheral fan. Some years I get really into it. Like this year, I'm getting back into the swing of things. Chris Johnson was saying, I don't think they'd part with them easily, but you can never say never, because they could get to a point where they are doing something of a bit of a different retool on the fly. The Bruins just played St. Louis the other day. We won again, and it was our former coach, Jim Montgomery, who hooked on with the St. Louis Blues after he got fired here and took them to the playoffs. But right now they're not doing so good. We won last night again too, so we're tied for first place with the Tampa Bay Lightning. We've played 2 more games. We played 30 games this season already. We're in the Western Conference. Where are the Blues? Oh, the Blues are in second to last place with 27 points, 29 games played. They're under 500. Wow, and the Avalanche are just tearing things up and bringing the Stars with them too, and the Wild. Man, the Wild of 15. Wow. The Wild West. But yeah, I mean, what a league. What a year. Let's see. Quinn Hughes, 46. Some people have suggested to me that he may have some kind of no trade protection in that final year of the contract. I've tried to confirm it. No one's willing to confirm or deny it. That's from. So these rumors are from a pretty reputable kind of place. Pierre LeBrun, Dave Pagnotta. These are reputable NHL beat writers and voices. So these are not taken out of context. These are not meant to be inflammatory or clickbait. Yet, where are the trades? I have right here the NHL trade tracker from NHL.com. Official deals since July 1st, 2025. Welcome to the NHL trade tracker. So the last significant trade was 5 days ago. The Blues acquired Akil Thomas from the LA Kings for Nikita Alexandrov. Before that, it was November 17th. Ottawa Senators, acquired Denis Gilbert from the Flyers for restricted free agent defenseman Max Gannett. Before that, it was November 3rd. These are the major deals. So where are all these trades happening? Seriously, you can see this. November 3rd, Blues acquired defenseman Calle Rosen from the Capitals for defenseman trade. So it looks like Philly's been active trading people already. Remember, the season only began first week of October. Yeah, and that's the NHL trade tracker. So where do these rumors come from? Are they just some perpetuating myth? Or this is just what we're supposed to be talking? Are we just like making our own? We need to have conversations happening. So we have to just keep, I ask questions. Like, yeah, that's well, look at that. Nobody's willing to confirm or deny it. Dave, Quinn Hughes, no trade protection. No one's willing to. It's like, what? Okay. Yeah. I mean, what is? Yeah. Chris Johnson said Tyler Seguin had been playing an important role. Former Bruin, Stanley Cup winner in 2011. Tyler Seguin, and we traded him to the Dallas Stars, where he caught on fire. He's elite, and he was elite when we had him, compared to Dougie Hamilton. I said in my Dougie Hamilton analysis, Tyler Seguin was elite when he was young and a rookie. He was just like budding elite, and he grew up to be an impressive player. And he's been lost to the season. He tore his knee up. Tyler Seguin had been playing an important role for the Stars. They're likely to be even more aggressive buyers than they already were. They were already going to be at this trade deadline. Trade deadline's in about March or so. NHL trade deadline in 2026 is Friday, March 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So mark that in your calendar, the trade deadline. Yeah. But Tyler Seguin was like, and there were going to be up to almost $10 million in space if Seguin isn't able to return. And the prognosis on that doesn't look too good. The Panthers, nobody's throwing in the towel yet. No, I mean, everyone's just, these divisions are really competitive. Yeah, and that is the rumor tracker. That is the rumor stuff. In my hockey stuff list, and you can come and you can access and be part of that hockey stuff list through my Twitter at Rev Sully. This is me. Come and join me over on Twitter, X. I only do two places. I do Twitter, X, and YouTube. I am not on Insta. I am not on MySpace. I am not on Blogger. I am not on Friendster. I am not on MySpace. No, I already said that one. That was a dumb joke to begin with. I am not on Facebook. I am not on Parler. I am not on Bluesky. I am not on Threads. I am not on Rumble. I am not on Twitch. I am not on Truth Social. No. I am on Twitter, X, and YouTube only. And that's it. That's where you're going to find your daily dose of Reverend Sully Network. That's right, or a semi-daily dose. And this is this week's Smoking Puck from the studio audience here in Boston, Massachusetts. The studio audience is actually Pikachu, who doubles as my executive producer. But yeah, come and subscribe to my YouTube station. But yeah, here's the schedule for today. We're playing again on Tuesday against the Blues in St. Louis. And so it goes, and the world spins, and it's December in the NHL, and we're 2 months in. This is beginning month number 2 of the season. The Bruins are 30 games in, tied for first place. Great unexpected fate for the Bruins so far. Morgan Geekie is just lighting it up. He's on fire. Morgan Geekie. NHL stats here. He's a center. He's 27 years old, 6'3", 212 pounds. You might know him as number 93. 39 on the Bruins. He's got 30 games played, so he's played every game so far. He's got 22 goals, 10 assists. That's 32 points. His plus minus is -2, which is interesting. But he is the lead league. He kind of shares the lead league in goals scored with Nathan McKinnon. There's then comes the San Jose's sophomore, Macklin Celebrini, who is right behind them. And this is welcome to hockey season. And there we go. And this is my hockey. This is full of hockey stuff. And that's it. I follow the American Hockey League. I follow the Providence Bruins. I follow the East Coast Hockey League. And I follow the Maine Mariners. Those are Bruins farm teams. Who is this old goalie? I love this one. Old hockey cards. It's a nice. Okay. Pick one. I'm going to pick Chris Nyland because he was a Bruin. Half the time he was a Montreal Canadian, but at the end of his career he was a Bruin, but also then he played for the Rangers too at the very end of his career, and he was a notorious tough guy. Bruins Die Hard. This is a great little account. Swayman is 19 games played, 51 goals against, and this expected goals against. He was expected to be giving up 70 goals. Goals against, expected kind of stuff. Those kind of stats give me a headache. But we know if like we're these are make believe stats. Well, if everything was perfect, then this guy would that's an end. Okay, all right. I'm glad I asked the AI to give me it like it was a 5-year-old. Like, try to explain this to me like I'm 5. All righty. Let's see. And let's fall in love again. Falling in love again. Never was it true. What am I to do? I can't help it. Love's always been my game. Play it do. I was born that way. I can't help it. Men, they all tend to flock me like moths against the flame. And when their wings burn, you'll know I'm not to blame. Falling in love again, never was it true. What am I to do? I can't help it. Okay, my favorites. This is my little $80, $70 Bic Pen arcade. It's kind of flimsy, kind of cheapness. It's got 22,000 games on so many different systems. And I am currently in love with an old friend. NHL 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. Behold, an old friend. I had a Game Boy Advance. One of my best friends, Peter Fernandez, gifted me randomly with a Game Boy Advance one year for my birthday or Christmas. And it's just, oh, wow. What a great experience. I did not have NHL 2002. I believe so. I don't believe I had NHL 2002 because I was playing it before we get a copyright strike. Okay. I just want to say also, I started with the NHL Electronic Arts games with the Sega Genesis, the 16-bit game. All right. And so it doubled in size when it went from Sega Genesis or SNES to GameCube. It was a GameCube and Nintendo 64. That quadrupled that. I am playing a season, and it saves to this bloody little Bic Pen arcade. Continue old season. Games today. Okay, but if I recognize everything about this game because the power of a Game Boy Advance literally was the power of a 16-bit system in your pocket. It was you could play NES, SNES games basically on this thing. This NHL 2002 is just a clever repackage of what basically I played before on Sega Genesis as NHL 1996. It's the same gameplay, same kind of give and go. My muscle memory is embedded in a in the 3-button Sega Genesis thing. So it's like I've been getting my hands used, my mitts used to, my thumbs used to. It's just A, B, and then the R and the L buttons. And so I'm a little disappointed. I'm like 8 games into my season, and I've got like 2 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. So I'm 7 games into my season out of 82 games, and a playoff after that. And it's just been so much fun. And after that, what am I going to play? I'm going to play NHL 99 for the N64, and then enjoy those graphics and that gameplay. This has got a couple of different, and so falling in love again with hockey and like thinking hockey. So I've been thinking hockey nonstop this season. Seriously, nonstop thinking. I mean, so what I've been doing is I've been playing. I shut it down. And it's got this cute little case, you know what I mean? And I keep the power cord in here, the charger cord, and some headphones. It has a traditional headphone jack, and I got it for $70. It usually goes for $80. It's on Amazon. It's one of these handheld emulators, and it's a great little gadget. I love it. There's so many games, but every morning, my way to work, I can play one hockey game on my way to work, on my commute, on the subway. And I can fit in 2 games usually on the way home. So I'm playing 3 games a day. I mean, like, that's a lot of progress playing a game, especially going for the season, because the season I can maybe get to the playoffs. And this is a true Electronic Arts NHL game. There are trades. There will be trades. It's like you can create a player. I created Eric O'Sullivan, like I always did on every single one of these EA games. He used to wear number 88 back in the Eric Lindros days. And so my little thing, my little fanfic of like my seasons was like, I'm the real 88, this Eric. I thought that was cool. And but I eventually moved over to number 72, which is my birth year, 1972. So in 2002, that's the year I turned 30. So there is a 30-year-old center named Eric O'Sullivan wearing number 72 who shoots left on the Boston Bruins, the team I've picked for this season. And I'm gonna also try to make some cockamamie trades. It's like fantasy hockey, because this is so far removed from anything. It really is. It's got all these old rosters of all these old players, and I'm like, oh wow, I think I'm going to try to make some trades and try to get a better goalie. Maybe I'll try to get Mike Richter away from the Rangers. Well, no, that's 2002. His big thing was 1994, because the gameplay is identical and to NHL 96, which was huge. I had on Sega Genesis, and I was playing already NHL 2002 on PlayStation 2 back in that day. So it's like I didn't need the Game Boy Advance version. But now, literally 23 years later, I've come back to full circle, a very comfortable version of this game on a handheld, on this emulator thing, and I can play it every morning on my way to work. And it's really cool. And I'm not absorbed into the black mirror of my phone. I'm absorbed into a black mirror of my handheld game. But I don't know. It just brings me joy. And especially thinking hockey, thinking about the one-timer, thinking about stupid trades I can make, or, I'm just enjoying the hell out of this thing. And I'm going to play NHL 99 for the N64. And the N64's controls always boggled me. Seriously, I went from the elegance and simplicity of a of a Sega Genesis with 3 buttons to the 4 buttons of a PlayStation 1. And then we started getting R1 and R2, and then we got R3 and R4. No, it wasn't R3. And then we got the joysticks too. I mean, a little later on. So I mean, I'm so blessed and grateful that PlayStation hasn't changed their basic controller configuration in 30 years. That's muscle memory. So I have no Nintendo muscle memory. I have very little for the Game Boy. I had two. I had a Game Boy original, the spinach green screen, and the Game Boy Advance. So it's coming back to me a little because the Game Boy Advance had R1 and R2, and 2 buttons, A, B, and a D-pad. So it's fun. So it's reestablishing some muscle memory. But when I first game of this I played, I was like, oh wow, this is like an old pair of shoes that just fit right. Like, oh wow, look at you guys. Yeah, so that's falling in love again. Like the NHL, video games, the NHL 2002, which is quite literally just a repackaging. They just had, hey, let's just click and paste, cut and paste this, and drop it on top of NHL 96. Here we go. That works, and it does work. Especially, it really does. And it's just so much fun, and it's adding to my hockey experience this year. I see few and far between the games. I wish I could watch more, but I don't have the sports package. It's not worth it. I feel like, I don't watch enough sports at home to merit spending that much money on such a limited programming. And and there are sales and everything. I'm just not interested. As I said about being online, I'm only on YouTube and Twitter X. But when it comes to streaming, I only watch YouTube and Amazon Prime. I couldn't care less about like Apple TV or Paramount Plus or or Hulu or Disney Plus or any of them. I mean, or Netflix. I don't Netflix. None of them. Well, all right. Well, this has been this week's Smoking Puck. Thank you so much for tuning in, checking us out. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you with more hockey during the week. Maybe we'll have some updates, at least minimum once a week with Smoking Puck, with some room to grow and evolve the iconic brand as the corporate people want. All righty. Well, thank you so very much. Leave a comment in the comment section. Keep this Boston-based hockey column, this hockey show, to keep this conversation rolling. Who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite player? What number should I be looking forward on the ice when you visit my town? God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you on the ice with the Smoking Puck.